This is Algebra Lesson 8.2, Product Rules. We are going to write some rules to help us simplify some expressions in exponential form. The first one is for any non-zero value of b and any integer values of m and n, the product of b to the power of m times b to the power of n can be simplified by keeping your base of b and raising it to the power of m plus n. For any non-zero values of a and b and any integer values of m and n, the quantity of b to the power of m raised to the power of n can be simplified by keeping your base of b and multiplying those exponent values. And finally, the quantity of the product of a times b raised to the power of n is kind of like the distributive property. You need to give whatever exponent you have on the outside to every piece of the product on the inside. So a gets an n and b gets an n. Let's try using some of these rules. I'm going to write these out in expanded form and in exponential form to show you how these rules work. So I have 3 to the power of 4 times 3 to the power of 2. In expanded form, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 threes, and 3 to the 2 is 2 threes. Now there's a times dot there, but really 3 to the 4 is 3 times 3 times 3, and 3 to the 2 is 3 times 3. And there's no difference between that middle times dot and all the individual times dots, so basically really we just have 6 threes. So the shortcut way then from the rule up top is the base of 3 stays 3, power of 4 plus power of 2 means I have 6 threes. Letter B is kind of the same thing. In expanded form I have 3 x's and I have 5 x's. All together that makes 8 x's. Writing them out I can count them, or using my shortcut rules, x stays x. I have power 3 plus power 5 gives me power 8. My next one is power of a power. My base, expanded form first. So 4 to the 5 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That raised to the power of 2 means I have this entire group 2 times. So I need another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I count them now, I should see 10 4s. But my shortcut rule tells me if I did 5 times 2, it brings me that same answer without having to write them all out the long way. Let's do letter D same way. I have x to the third, 1, 2, 3, and then that power 4 means I have that entire grouping 4 times. So I have 1 set of 3, 2 sets of 3, 3 sets of 3, and 4 sets of 3. 3, 6, 9, 12. I think I got one too many. Counting is hard. The shortcut rule, though, I could have just simply done 3 times 4, brings me to the same answer without having to actually write them all out. Next, I have the product xy raised to the power of 3. What that means is everything in there gets the 3. The long way, the expanded way, says I have xy, and I have that grouping 3 times. So I have a second xy, and I have a third xy. So if I count up how many x's I have 3 x's. If I count up how many y's I have 3 y's. I think this is the number one easiest one that people mess up on because they forget to put the 3 on the x also. They only put the 3 on the last thing, but anytime there's a 3 outside on a power like that, it goes on everything. This one's really the same thing. Expanded form, I have 5 groups of 4x. That tells me I have 4 5s, 5 4s, and 5 x's. Everything in the power gets the power. Everything in the parentheses gets the power. Now, depending on the instructions, this one says to write in exponential form. So I would call this done. Similarly, I'm calling that done, I'm calling that done. If the answer asks you to go a step farther, you might actually have to calculate 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that would actually be 1024 x5. Just to show you that one, I think I'll do that in example B, but if the question asks you, let me scroll down. If the question asks you to write the expression that way, or leave it in exponential form. If it's exponential form, you can leave it number to a power. If it doesn't say leave in exponential form, you'd have to actually get the numerical value. So letter B, we are going to work in some coefficients now. The way that this is set up, in expanded form, it's 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. We are multiplying all of these together. So I'm going to multiply coefficients with coefficients. 4 times 6 is going to give me 24. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 A's, a to the 7. With just using the rules, I know 4 times 6 is 24. I don't really have to write it out in expanded form. I know 5 A's and 2 A's will give me 7 A's. Letter B, I'm going to do expanded form again. I have 2 P's, I have 4 Q's. Then, this is going to take a lot. I got 3 P's and 2 Q's, and I don't want to write it out anymore because I'd have this whole chunk. I'd have to rewrite it a second time, a third time, a fourth time, and a fifth time. So I think I'm just going to use the rules on this one. That's a lot of writing. And I'm showing you all of the rules the long way just to give you guys an idea of what it looks like, but I don't necessarily need you to write them out unless it asks you to, like this one does. Hopefully this picks up where we left off. Okay, so if I don't want all that there, let's use the rules. This 5 goes on everything. So there's already a 3 there. I'm going to multiply it. This is going to be P15, and then this is going to be Q10. So now I can add these, because I have 2 P's and 15 P's gives me 17 P's. And I can add these. I have 4 Q's and 10 Q's gives me 14 Q's. Last one, I'm going to just go straight to the answer. I don't want to go through expanded form because I think it's like the last one. But I'm going to distribute this 2 to every single piece in the parentheses. So that will be 3 gets a 2. 3 squared is 9. X gets a 2. Y gets a 2, but Y already has a 4, so then we're going to multiply them together. I'm going to keep everything else the same, just so that I can line everything up. So now regular coefficients get multiplied. 4 times 9 is 36. Powers on X's get added together, and powers on Y's get added together. That would be it for the notes on this lesson. Good luck with the exercises, and please let me know if you have questions.